Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in the studio, which means it's live. So get involved in the comments and the chat and give us a like as well while you're at it. Lots to get through. We're going to be talking about everyone's favourite topic, Paul Labille Pogba. I feel like we've not spoken about him for a few days, which is weird. We're also going to be talking about Ousmane Dembele. There's another story doing the rounds that United could be in for him. I'm not too sure about that one, but we'll get into it. Also, Jesse Lingard, he could be heading to the Northeast. That's, I think, where it was then, Newcastle. Yeah, it's the Northeast, isn't it? As part of Eddie Howe's revolution. So we'll get into all that. So we'll start with Paul Pogba. Now, this feels like deja vu all over again, as they say. Every now and again, we have a new manager comes in, and we have a story that Paul Pogba is going to be happy with his new manager, and he's going to perform under this new manager, and he's going to be willing to stay under this new manager. We had it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now we're having it with Ralf Rangnick. It's been a bit of a up and down season for Paul Pogba so far. Started off very well, tailed off a bit, got injured. His contract is obviously out in the summer. It's up, so he can leave for free. In January, I think it is, he can sign pre-contract agreements or an agreement with clubs not in the Premier League, I think is the rule. He can sign contract agreements with clubs from abroad. So there's every chance he might do that, and this could be, over before it's even got started. However, there is talk that he may stay. United apparently have offered him a new deal. Now, there's a little bit of intrigue and a bit of a caveat here, because from various reports that a couple of years ago, or about a year ago, United, Pogba was willing to sign a deal United or weren't that keen on. Then United were keen and Pogba wasn't. It seems like there's been a bit of back and forth depending on who you read and who you believe. Now, the latest story, and this is coming from Fabrizio Romano, I think he was talking to CBS, and he said that United have had a renewal proposal on the table since July, but so far there is still no agreement nor a decision by Pogba one way or the other. The performance with Rangnick in these months will be an important indicator. Now, yeah, the performance of Rangnick in these months, I don't know if we've got that. I don't know. We might have 2 months, is it? If that, about a month. It then goes on to say, a final decision on Pogba's future should be expected in a few days or weeks. Pogba's choice, which when he eventually makes it, will involve many factors from personal to economic. Now, one factor, maybe, who comes in for him, because at the moment, we're not sure who's in for Paul Pogba, who wants him. We know, like I said earlier, he's available for free in the summer, but his wages will be, quite a bit. I think he's going to be on more than the living wage. Let's have it right. So it's whether a club can afford his wages, not have a signing fee or a transfer fee, but he'll have big wages. So that's going to sort of lessen the amount of clubs that will be in for him. But you still think that Paul Pogba, one of the most talented midfielders in the world, World Cup winner, I think he's 28, so it's not like he's past it. He's got a good 4 or 5 years left in him. You think there'd be suitors. However, it's not been like a sort of a stampede of clubs coming for Paul Pogba. He's been linked with Paris Saint-Germain because they're linked with everyone, and it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? He's a French international. He's obviously a big star in France. They've got lots of money. Yeah, makes sense there. It's been linked with Juve. He came from Juve. Obviously, he went to Juve from United and then came back to us, so maybe we'll go back to Juventus. That makes sense. Real Madrid, there's been 1 or 2 suggestions, but those have died down a lot. And it was more a few years ago where he was being linked with Madrid. When Zidane was there, of course, he was being linked with him, and them two were saying nice things about one another. Barcelona just seems dead in the world, doesn't it? Because of their financial problems. I know, again, he hasn't got a transfer fee, but Barcelona, can they afford his wages? We know that Memphis Depay went there. He signed a deal, and then he ended up taking a bit of a pay cut because the wheels came off their financial situation. So it'll be interesting to see whether they come in for him. I'll get into some of the comments, then we'll add a little bit more and see what everyone else is saying. Ben Roberts says he literally just plays for money, not for the club. Glenn Milorca says, Paul Labille, Pogba, please leave. Hasna Anwar, Pogba was up there as the 3rd highest pressing player, so probably will fit into Ralph's style. Yeah, Ralph, who loves a bit of the old Genghis press. There was some stats doing the rounds that Pogba's quite good at that, at pressing, or that his stats for pressing were quite high. Maybe that's going to, make him a big part of what Ralf Rangnick's trying to do, but it's a moot point if he doesn't want to stay. It's not a case of, whether Ralf Rangnick wants him. I think a big part of it is whether Paul Pogba wants to stay. Punic Shetty says Pogba and Allegri get along really well, and Raiola gets along well with Juve as well. If I had to bet, he would end up at Juve. Danny says, I wish this was a video game. I'd swap him for De Jong in a heartbeat. We had a story yesterday about Frankie De Jong being a potential target for Manchester United. Barcelona, as I mentioned earlier, have got all sorts of financial problems, and it looks as though if Xavi wants to buy any players, he may have to sell someone or get someone at least off his wage bill, and that could be Frankie De Jong. United, apparently, according to various reports, I think this was coming out of Spain, are interested in him, and Rangnick wants to bring De Jong to Old Trafford. We'll have to wait and see whether that happens. I don't think we're going to be in a position, are we, to do any sort of swap, because Pogba's got 6 months left on his contract. So I don't see that happening. You never know. I mean, you could do, might do. I mean, we were talking yesterday about could Cavani be used as a mate weight. So when you look at it from that point of view, then he's out of contracts in the summer. Maybe there is something to be done there. I'm not sure. There's lots of ifs and buts and maybes, but the biggest question is whether Paul Pogba wants to stay. I always had the impression with Paul Pogba that if he wanted to stay at Manchester United, he could do. I don't think the club want to get rid of him. I think they'd be happy for him to stay. But it's whether he wants to or not. He left, obviously, in 2012. So when he came back, there was all this sort of talk, these stories doing the rounds of he's returned to his boyhood club and he's back to where he belongs and all this sort of thing. And I think he's not a diehard United fan. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't expect every player to be, red through and through. Lots of players have left Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to go to Madrid. It happens. So I don't think he's like this thing of, he's just absolutely adamant he wants to stay. But he may be open to staying. It's just whether the United can really convince him, whether United are mad keen on him. I've always said they wanted him, but are we sort of like willing to make him one of the highest paid players in the world, which is what the talk was of earlier, or are we getting a bit fed up with it? My personal take on the Paul Pogba situation, my only issue with him really is just his injury record. It's just... You can't rely on him, I think. He's missed, I think, a quarter of games, is it, since he arrived? He's missed some big games as well, a lot of big games. And I just think that's a massive concern. He does get injured quite a lot. I think he's a hugely talented player. Paul Pogba signs a new deal. I'm not going to be complaining because I think you want to keep your best players, and I also question about how we'll replace him, especially Glazonomics. But his injury problems do worry me a little bit. 9-Year West says, Pogba on his day is one of the best midfielders I've seen. Arguably our most naturally talented player. Would love to keep him, but looking less and less likely. Elephants Barmy Army says, get rid of him. Salim Mo says, I've been doing U-turns since he joined. Which one do you want to stay or go? Brad says, availability is the best ability, Jay. Very well said. I think I first heard Ronaldo saying that, Ronaldo Brown, not Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's true. I don't know if he made that up. I think he heard it somewhere else, but it's a good point. Availability is the best ability, and a lot of the time, Paul Pogba's not available. He seems to miss important parts of the season. That's my main gripe with Paul Pogba. He did it the season we finished 19 points behind City. He missed a chunk of that season. He missed a chunk of the season. Was it Ollie's first full season in charge? I think he missed a bit of that and a bit of last season as well. So yeah, Bradley Wilkinson, thanks for a super chat. There's no comment in it. It's just a super chat. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who previously were sort of pro Pogba, if you can use that term, who are now getting a bit fed up with him. Also in the chat, there's a pinned comment there. You can win a PlayStation 5. If you've not done, check out the 12 Days of Paddock, the competition we're running for our members. Join our membership, you can win. See the prizes down on the screen. You can win a PlayStation 5. You can win a trip to Old Trafford. You can win some merch, delivery voucher, and a book by United's 4th best ever goalkeeper. Right, should we move on from Paul Pogba? Let's stop talking about Paul Pogba, and let's stop talking about whether he's going to stay or go. I'm sick and tired of talking about French footballers leaving their clubs. Let's talk about Ousmane Dembele. Dembele's been linked with Manchester United for quite a little while now. This is one that's been doing the rounds. He's out of contract in the summer. I think, he's 24, out of contract in the summer. Went from Dortmund then to Barcelona. Since he's been to Barcelona, you're talking about injury problems with Paul Pogba. I mentioned it earlier, how he misses chunks of the season. Well, he's an amateur compared to Dembele. Dembele, I think, has played 4 games all season in all comps, I think. Managed 44 games last season, which is a good return, to be fair to him. But the previous season, I think he had 9. Previous season, a bit better. But my point is, he's very patchy in his injury record. It's a big question mark around him. And he never seems to get a consistent run in the team and consistently performs. But he's available, perhaps for free in the summer, or if you're going to go a bit earlier, you could get him in January for a cut price. And this is something that just keeps popping up. Now, I remember covering this story about 6 months ago or something there. United were spoken about him, and it's come up again. I think the Express are running it, but there's other papers that have had this as well. And the reason it's getting a bit more legs as well is because Newcastle are in for him. Newcastle, obviously newly minted, got lots of money, and they're looking at Ousmane Dembele as a potential signing for them. Now, I mean, if United were to go for him out of the two, you think he'd choose United over Newcastle. I know Newcastle have got lots of money, but they're not going to be in the Champions League. They're not going to be challenging around the top. Not yet, anyway, where Manchester United could offer him that. And obviously, United's one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's leaving Barcelona, which is one of the biggest clubs in the world, to go to another one of the biggest clubs in the world. Newcastle United, with all due respect to them, just not in the same league, are they? Let's have it right. Big up United Agenda. Good to see you guys in the chat. If you're not doing, go and check out the Man United Agenda. Great channel doing great things. So, if he was given a choice, you think he'd choose us. But the question is, how solid are these rumours? Is there a lot of fire to the smoke about the idea that we want Dembele? He is an exciting player. He's a good attacking player, and he sort of fits the mould of players that we like and have. He's sort of, he's not a winger. He's not an out-and-out striker. He's in that sort of he's in the that sort of inverted attacker type thing, inverted winger, type of type of player. So we do have that type of attacker at United, and you think, okay, maybe he can come in and maybe he can fit that mould. And if someone like Andy Martial's been suggested he could be on his way, could he come in and be a replacement? Lots of ifs and buts. I just don't know. I just don't know how keen we are on him. I know the price is obviously right because you can get him for nothing, but I just think, like I said, the injury record, and just question marks around him at the very top level consistently. And I know this is such a silly argument, but I can't get that Liverpool game out of my head. Remember for Barcelona when he came on, they were 3-0 up and he missed that sitter. And then Liverpool went on to win the Champions League. I know I'm petty and sad, but it's just true. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. Ingo Do says the way he left Dortmund was dirty. Liam Clark says Dembele is definitely a Newcastle signing. Injury prone, massive wage, big profile. Zabil, still talking about Pogba there. Leo J says no on Dembele. United can't keep getting players who are injury prone. I know it's unfortunate, but they need consistency. Yeah, this is the problem. Is you can't make someone not be injury prone or not be susceptible to injuries. They are. There's nothing you can do about that. The question is, do you take that chance on them? Is it worth the risk of them getting injured a lot because of the rewards you get when they do play? And with Dembele, I'm not so sure it is. I mean, his record, if you're looking just in terms of goals, I know this is, again, it's not the most sort of insightful argument, but over the last sort of 5 seasons since he's been at Barca, you've had 4 goals in all competitions, 14 goals in all competitions. This is season by season. 1 goal, 11 goals, and none so far this season. So it's not like he's prolific. And I just think it's too much Maivo, as we say in Manchester. So it's a no for me. But who knows? We'll wait and see. And if he does come, that's the whole thing, innit? You're going to get behind him. You're not going to be gutted that we've signed a player with as much talent as Ousmane Dembele. But he may end up going to Newcastle because they've got lots of money and they're in for lots of players, including our very own Jesse Lingard. Now, this is a story in I think the Times have got it. This has been doing the rounds a little bit ever since Newcastle came into the money. People started looking at potential signings and thought Jesse Lingard could be one. Makes sense. He's out of contract in the summer. He hasn't signed a new deal, obviously, at Manchester United. He's a very talented player. He's done well this season. I know he had a little bit of a bad moment, shall we say, against young boys, but since then he's scored some good goals and still looks lively. He's played well for England as well. And he could go there and help them get going like he did at West Ham last season. When West Ham signed Jesse Lingard, they had a right little boost, didn't they? And if you look at Newcastle, I know they're near the bottom of the table, but they've got ambitions. They've got big ambitions, and you think someone like Jesse Lingard would fit those ambitions. The thing with Newcastle is they can't go out and buy like Mbappe and Neymar and, big star players, Lewandowski or whatever. They're not going to go out and get these mega stars, are they? Because where they are, they're fighting a relegation battle. but they can get players who are international players. They can get players who are very good, and Jesse Lingard fits that mould. It says here in the Times, Newcastle United have made the signing of Jesse Lingard their priority in January and are prepared to offer a deal that will make him the highest earner in the club's history. I think it's Almiron who's the highest earner in the club's history. It seems a bit bizarre, doesn't it? Because he's not exactly set the world alight, but he is one of their most recent big signings, so it kind of makes sense. It says here, Lingard's contract to United is due to expire next summer, and Newcastle want to kickstart their season and usher in a new era at the club. Talks have already taken place with Lingard's advisors, and he's been offered a 4.5 deal, significantly in excess of the 100 grand a week salary of the club's present top earner, Miguel Almiron. See, I told you. So it looks like that kind of makes sense. Jesse Lingard going to Newcastle. He's not getting in the team at Manchester United. I mean, he's struggling to get off the bench, isn't he, really, if you look at it? I mean, some people have said, well, he looks like he could fit into a Ralph Rangnick system. He's a Ralph Rangnick type of player. You know, he's full of beans, isn't he, Jesse Lingard? He's full of energy. He likes to press. Ralph Rangnick likes to press. You think someone like Lingard would fit in. But I still feel he'd be down the pecking order. I still feel he would. I don't know if he can suddenly leapfrog ahead of the likes of Marcus Rashford, Cristiano Ronaldo, Mason Greenwood, Jadon Sancho. Can he get ahead into them? Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba, if he comes back in. They're all similar-ish, not identical, but similar-ish types of positions, aren't they? Lingard can almost play anywhere other than striker. I think you can play him as a 10, you can play him on the left or on the right. Those players I've mentioned can play in all those positions. So does Jesse Lingard get in ahead of any of them? I'm not so sure he does. He's 28. He wants he obviously wants first team football. You've got the World Cup, not in the summer, obviously. You've got the World Cup in next winter. He's going to need games to do that. He missed out on England because I think lack of games cost him. I know he'd gone to West Ham and he'd had that mad run with West Ham where he scored loads of goals and played every game, but he had missed a chunk of the season and he just couldn't quite get over the line. He was in the provisional squad, but not the final squad. So I just think he'll be looking at that, thinking, I want to play for England, I want to play in a World Cup. I'm not getting many games at Manchester United. Could go to Newcastle and get my career going again, if that's the right term. Let us know in the comments what you think. Lots of different comments here. Ed T says, bye-bye. Oh, sorry, bye, Paul. Bye, Jesse. Good luck to you in your future at Devons. Glenn F says, Ahmad, yeah, I've not even mentioned him. Ahmad Diallo. Also, someone else I didn't mention, is Anthony Elanga, who played at the weekend and played very well. Came on, didn't he, and was very lively. So, yeah, Jesse Lingard, he's way down that pecking order, isn't he? So it kind of makes sense that he could end up at Newcastle. Can we have a like as well? Hit that like button, please. Smash a like, as they say. 85 people liking this video, over 800 people watching. Come on, let's get to 100 likes before we move on. Let's have a look here what some of the comments are saying. Leo J says, Lingard needs a new chapter in his life, whether it's Newcastle or not. His time at United is done. United got young players who are trying to get in the first team. PK777 says, so good, Elanga. Andy K, going back to the Pogba story, says, we don't need Pogba. We need younger, hungrier players. We've got lots of young players, haven't we? And it looks like Rangnick may be willing to use them if the what we saw with Elanga is anything to go for. Django Play says, get Milinkovic-Savic in. We were linked with him a few years ago. Dan Royal says, will the Academy review be back? Yes, it will. And we've got a special edition of that coming up soon. Me and Dave Pritt will be giving you a bit of a lowdown on the Academy. I think it's going to be next week, I think, if my dates are right. It might be, it's going to be after the Youth Cup game anyway. Me and Dave are going to be back with the Academy review. I bumped into an Academy lad the other day and he said he watched it, so it was great to hear that. So we definitely need to bring that back. Ed T says, if we don't get to 100 likes, Jay will get Abdul on to tell another great story. Winking emoji. Yeah, Abdullah's texting story was amazing if you missed out on the brew the other day. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks everyone who got involved in the chat. Thanks everyone who commented. Thanks everyone who gave us a like, and thanks everyone who watched. Don't forget to check out the other videos we've got on the channel. Make sure you check out the video that Steve Howson did with Maram. It's really good sort of tactical analysis of Ralph Rangnick and what he's expecting from his team and what he's doing in his team. It's really good. Loads of other good stuff coming up as well. Myself and Joe will be here later on tonight. It's a long shift for me today. I'll be here tonight with Paddock live. We'll also be looking ahead towards the Young Boys game, and tomorrow then we'll have the watch along and all that stuff. If you're not doing as well, check out the members section. 12 days of Paddock. You've just seen the graphic there where you can win a PlayStation 5. So get involved in that. And finally, give us a subscription. Subscribe to this channel. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. With your support, we can do it. This has been The Paper Talk. I've been Jay Martin. Thanks for watching.